Hey everyone, hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just going on to Bitcoin. Big on the CoinsKid crew. So Bitcoin's doing incredibly well. It is down 0.5%, almost 0.5% in the last 24 hours. But we have all these beautiful indicators here that are telling us that the top is not necessarily in yet. So I do think we're in the parabolic blow off top phase of this particular cycle for Bitcoin, and it's rearing its head basically. There's lots of confluence in that analysis I've shown you over the years leading to this point. We've got the S&P 500, the DXY, DJI, we've got XRP, we've got VChain, Chainlink, all those coins that I think have been in an ABC zigzag correction since April of 2021. So I think this is a blow off top phase. This is it, and I'll be looking to take profit on my Bitcoin position and ride it into some of these altcoins, especially XRP, when I do start to see something in this particular indicator. Okay, the CKR maxing out at 100 and equally the EMA maxing out at 100. Okay, and I think that's the sweet spot. That's the perfect position in some lagging altcoins to really get the altcoin, the altcoin season that everyone keeps talking about. So I don't necessarily think the altcoin season's here just yet. I will show you my expected target on the Bitcoin dominance chart, where I do expect an altcoin season to sort of kick in, and there's a little bit of confluence to my time analysis of July as well with that particular chart. Okay, so I'll dive into the charts in a minute, but I just want to say thank you for tuning in, thank you for the support, thank you for liking the videos. If you are looking for more content, definitely get involved in the Discord. I'm posting so many altcoin setups in there. Cake is looking amazing. That was a 38% up on that particular opportunity so far. That's been a lovely little sweet spot that I noted just a few days ago on the buy ribbon right there on the 5-day time frame. Lovely, and equally I think there's a macro opportunity and lots of other coins that I've posted in there as well. So get your ass in the Discord and take advantage of that content. So EMA sitting at 50, CKR 73 according to the data, and again, data not emotion. This market is not cooked for Bitcoin just yet. Okay, let's dive into the charts right now, see what we can see. So looking at Bitcoin dominance chart right now, this is basically the dominance of the entire crypto market cap, and at the moment Bitcoin obviously dominates the market, as you're fully aware. It's number one, and you've got Ethereum number two, and so on and so forth. But to get this ticker into your charts, it's BTC.D, the Bitcoin dominance. Okay, so we'll take a look at this, and a lot of people look at this, and me personally, I look at this, it gives us clues to the alt season when we are actually in one, and when we could expect one as well. So basically this is an alt season. This is a previous cycle in 2017 December. Bitcoin was absolutely flying, putting all-time highs, going vertical in a massive parabolic stage, and at some point it turned around, and then boom, you got your big waterfall. Look at that big waterfall in 2017 December into January. That's when a lot of the altcoins topped out right there, and the big parabolic stage for them, and then boom, we got that big bear market that continued right there for Bitcoin, where it clawed back a hell of a lot of dominance, and then it went sideways in a range, and then it was basically, I think it was around about December 2020 when Bitcoin was breaking that all-time high, and started to come back downstairs in the dominance. It led to that big waterfall. But you can clearly see every time we've had a big alt season, again this leads to an alt season, the big waterfall in the dominance chart is basically after a big spike up. So we get the big spike up, the big spike up, the drop in the dominance, the drop in the dominance. We don't necessarily see a big spike up other than the consolidation in the range. So I actually think that this is a clue that the alt season is not necessarily here yet, and what we're looking for is basically more upside in this particular chart before we can call for an alt season. It's just confluence in an alt season, going forward. So what I'm looking at is Bitcoin has been doing incredibly well from there, and what it's done, it's basically been clawing back some of its dominance. So this is support that was lost way back there in that previous alt season, and it's slowly but surely clawed its way back up, found resistance at that point just there, back testing a higher low, and then broke out, and now it's consolidating in a range above this previous level of resistance, which was once support basically. So I think the next leg up, which could be a clue to the alt season, will be a big spike into this leg here. Then we could expect some kind of alt season. So until I start to see more data in this chart, a big spike up, I would be cautious about converting all my Bitcoin into altcoins at this point, which is what a lot of analysts are looking at right now. So obviously if we start to see more data in this chart, for example, start to break down here, lose this structural low, start to fall below the 50% range right there, then yeah, start to see some big red weekly candles, then we can start and look at the the high probability of an alt season at this point. But at this point I think it's too risky, given the fact that I'm looking at Bitcoin being in its parabolic vertical stage right now. I think that we just need to respect and ride Bitcoin until we start to see the the dominance chart tell us otherwise. Basically it's really simple, and accompanied with the EMA and the CKR right there. So I'll keep you updated as best I can. So if we start to see another spike in dominance, I would expect we could see a level of resistance right there at 59.73 in the Bitcoin dominance chart, which could be the start of an alt season. Absolutely. So we'll keep an eye on the dominance chart going forward. Okay, let's dive into the Bitcoin chart right now, see what we can see. So looking at Bitcoin on daily time frame, I would expect, we need more clues in the price action of Bitcoin as well as to when altcoin season comes. Obviously, at the minute, I think altcoins are looking incredibly bullish. I've been accumulating a lot of altcoins at the lows and obviously finding targets on, high targets and things like that. But I think the true sort of mania blow off top phase for the altcoin comes once we see a wave 4 correction being complete for Bitcoin. And I don't necessarily think we've got that yet. So again, I'll relay this data to you as and when it happens. I am looking for a zigzag correction of the wave 4 because at the minute, my primary count is the fact that this has been a 1 into the April of last year. Basically, we've got a beautiful impulsive wave 1, sideways 2. This is a 3 that we're still in, and I'm looking for some kind of wave 4 zigzag. At that point, I will seriously think about rotating my Bitcoin into, on the sweet spot altcoins. And the simple reason is because that's where we do see the verticalness in the altcoin chart, basically. So if we're repeating this vertical of an impulsive move to the upside, which pretty much we are right now, okay, then I'm going to show you the optimal entry point is in the wave 4 correction. So if we drop the total 2 chart in, it's quite hard to see, I do apologize, but at this point here, this is your wave 4 correction of this big impulse. Okay, you got some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The previous impulse from the March lows of 2020, you got the huge wave 3, okay, for Bitcoin. Then from there we've had the ABC, and right now this is your final 5th wave coming up for Bitcoin. Okay, so if you take a look at this particular scenario, let me drop the drawings out. This particular scenario just there, this is a wave 4 correction. Okay, you can clearly see if we move to the left, the altcoins, the total 2 market cap, which is basically the entire crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin, hadn't even broken its all-time high yet. Okay, but Bitcoin had. If you look at the price action, so Bitcoin went vertical in a wave 3, which is what I think this is right now, taking out its all-time high, which is what it's doing right now. So it's only at this point when Bitcoin had the wave 4 correction and came back in, it's at this point here, okay, which was prior to the low of the previous all-time high for the total market cap, which is pretty much where we are right now, that then at that point this is where the altcoins absolutely exploded. Now if you take a look, every time we have a massive move up in the altcoins, what happens to Bitcoin is it comes down like this, okay, and then it has this retracement which makes a lower high. This is where we get the continuation in the altcoins as well, a huge spike basically, because it's a laggard to Bitcoin, really simple. So the wave 4 correction in this big impulsive move was the optimal entry point because it was the lower high, basically. It was the previous resistance of the high, which was a sweet spot after breaking out the accumulation period, an absolute sweet spot to just jump into altcoins and ride a massive wave up, okay? So we're looking for the wave 4 correction up here somewhere for Bitcoin. Once that comes in, we'll jump I'll be looking to rotate all my Bitcoin into altcoins at that point, and we'll obviously be consolidating in a range under the previous all-time high, which is there for the altcoins, and then we'll begin to go and break out basically. So that's simple technical analysis. So I'm looking for a wave 4 correction in Bitcoin, which I think is the optimal entry point to jump into altcoins for my Bitcoin. Until that day comes, I'll remain in my Bitcoin, and I completely understand why people want to rotate into Bitcoin, altcoins at this point, but at the minute I just don't see enough data to warrant that at the minute, okay? But obviously I'm taking some positions in altcoins because obviously from this point the greater appreciation is in them, and again it's entirely up to you if you want to do that. But converting my Bitcoin into altcoins at this point is a no-go for me until I start seeing more data. Okay, I'm looking for that wave 4 because the wave 4 I think is the absolute sweet spot, and I'll relay that message to you in time. But I'm looking for a wave 4 correction, a zigzag correction for Bitcoin. But so far so good, we're doing incredibly well. If we take a look at the Bitcoin chart, we've got our ass back above that pi cycle top. Just look at that, beautiful, took out the high, which is what I expected, and right now we're going vertical. So I'm looking at this beautiful wave count, 1, sideways 2, 3, zigzag 4, and then the final 5th wave blow off top right there, possibly to that yellow line in this time frame as well. So we've not quite got the wave 4 just yet. With a wave 4 I'm looking for some kind of zigzag, so possibly coming up as a zigzag like that, optimal entry point to jump into altcoins, and then boom, you got your big blow off top in Bitcoin, but you've got your major spike and move up in the altcoins right there. Simple technical analysis. We need to see more data in many other charts to sort of warrant that big alt season that's coming basically. So I hope you understand the update. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. Take care everyone. Back to a new update on Bitcoin. Bye bye.